38%, sixth nationally in save percentage. He's playing so calm and relaxed in the cage. What makes him so special this season, though, is his outlet passes. He triggers transition with the soft hands for the Cavaliers from defense to offense. 2 weeks ago, he scored the game winner against Harvard up in Cambridge. He could take it coast to coast.
There's a good look at Matt Nunes. Been a stalwart in net for Virginia now, as I mentioned, in his third year. Facing off in this game, the consensus All-American for Duke, Jake Naso, already taken was 2 face-offs shy of 1,600 in his career, going against Anthony Gabriel, the transfer from Navy, and we're underway. Loose ball in the middle of the field. Gabriel's going to track it down. First possession to Virginia. Saw those ACC standings at the top of the show. You know, Virginia's got the win against North Carolina under their belt, but if you look at their schedule, they've played a bunch of good teams. You know, Towson and Michigan, North Carolina. They do have a win against Maryland, but the schedule really heats up from here on out. Shot wide of the target from Peyton Cormier, nation's leading goal scorer.
Duke putting their short stick defensive midfielder on Peyton Cormier. That's a strategy they've used in the past, and they stay with it.
Schellenberger got free. Now he in front, behind the back shot goes wide.
Why would you change, right? You haven't lost in years and years and years in the regular season. This is the big-time matchup, though, with Schellenberger against Brower, first-team All-Americans.
Schellenberger, the skip up to Griffin Schutz. He can't get the shot off as it was knocked down in front. Now a battle for the loose ball. It's going to be Duke's ball.
So first possession matchups, Roy's. Will Frisoli's covering McCabe Millen. It looks like Tyler Carpenter, 33 in white for Duke, is not active today.
And I think that's a smart matchup. Frisoli defended Jordan Faison from Notre Dame, who's a speedster. So they like the feet of Frisoli to match McCabe Millen, who's got some straight line speed.
Turnover in the middle of the field, goes back to Virginia. Jaeger, 23, D-Mitty brings it in and stays on the field. Now he'll check out. We'll get a look at Jack Boyden. Millen coming upfield. Frisoli pushes him away from the cage. Here's Colsey. Boyden transferred from D3, Tufts last year. Shot, Virginia on the board first, Griffin Schutz.
He's fired up. 26 in blue. Griffin Schutz, I think, is having a first-team All-American type season. Doesn't matter if a long pole's on him or a shorty. He's got the green light in Kevin Cassis's offense. And this time, Boyden, who's from Canada, will never use his left hand. He shovel passes this. And I thought he did a good job of bringing the defense with him.
Yeah, Frisoli, 7, sloughs down in a help posture. Look at him there. And he just gives up, as an adjacent man, he gives up too much real estate, and Schutz is able to catch that, set his feet, and let it rip with a good angle.
You know, we talk about deception a lot in offensive college lacrosse. I thought there was deception there in terms of Boyden bringing the defense down almost past the goal line.
Frisoli gave Boyden way too much respect. Boyden was not a threat. He was running towards the goal line extended.
Yeah. Battle for this loose ball in the middle of the field, and eventually it goes to Duke after some physical play. Jack Gray comes out of there with the GB. Naso thought about taking a shot and lost it. Big wingspan of this Virginia defense. We got a player down. It's a Duke
that's
player.
Naso.
Yeah, Naso.
That's not good.
Right in front of the cage. We mentioned how he's just been a warrior over the years. And he takes almost every draw for Duke. It isn't like they really have a 1 and a 1A option. They'll go with Cal Gerard if he's out, but Gerard's only taken 47 draws this year, but Naso has taken so many draws for them over the years. Let's take another look to see where the injury occurred as the Duke staff continues to look at Naso.
Twists that right ankle Oh, you see it there. Naso from St. Anthony's started specializing in the face-off art as a 7th grader. Has enjoyed his time here in Durham, and talking about Coach Danowski as a guy who's taught him life lessons.
Yeah.
Used lacrosse.
We had a great conversation, the three of us, with Jake this week, and what a stand-up young man. You talk to teammates, everything they say about him is, glowing remarks in terms of the way that he works and puts so much into his craft. After Petey LaSala graduated from Virginia last year, Jake Naso took the mantle of the most experienced face-off guy in college lacrosse by a lot.
Yeah, he's been so stable. His dad, Steve, his mom, Stacy. A lot of toughness in that Naso family.
Oh, yeah. Steve was a Marine and a New York City cop and a Suffolk County cop. And he taught his son at a young age, when you start something, you give 110%, all effort.
Yeah, you mentioned it. We had a great conversation with he and Aiden Denenza, of course, high school teammates at St. Anthony's, with Brendan O'Neill and Andrew McAdory. And so now it's the two Danowskis there. Matt, the son on the right. His dad, John, now got to go back to the drawing board on faceoffs.
We were talking today over breakfast about what do we think is going to happen in the next month and a half. Injuries are going to be giant, especially in the ACC. Pat Cavanaugh from Notre Dame got hurt on this field last week. Truett Sunderland for Virginia out of the lineup now for a while. Got hurt in practice this week. Who can stay healthy between now and Memorial Day?
And units in their depth. Duke, you have a face-off specialist in the freshman, Cal Gerard, who's exceptional. A lot of people thought he was amongst one of the top 2 or 3 in the country a season ago, but he was not expecting to take the lion's share of draws with Jake Naso this year. It was more of, let's learn under an incredible face-off specialist, one of the best ever to play at Duke, and you'll have your turn sophomore year, but it looks like he could be thrown into the mix at least for today.
So Virginia's ball after the turnover. Schellenberger on Brower. Menke's in the game too, the second midfield unit with McIntosh for Virginia. He goes back to his left to Schellenberger behind the cage. In front shot, hits the outside of the pipe. And that's Will Corey for the second midfield unit, getting involved in the offense. So a fresh 60 to shoot for Schellenberger. Comes upfield. Millen. On a shorty. Can he take advantage? Now here comes the help and a beautiful check.
That's a great double by Brower. The timing of that double, Quint.
Millen tried to hit him with the rollback, and when you see the numbers in the back of the jersey, it's a good time to double.
Used to be when you saw the laces in the back of the helmet, right, Q?
That's exactly right.
You were wearing the old buckets. When you were wearing
wow. Duke is struggling in the middle of the field in this game.
Going to get a flag now. First flag of the day. We'll hear from Hans Wittelsberger.
Got a hold. Look at Hans's tan, man. He lives in Florida, though.
It's always that way. It'd be December and he'd be tan like that, like Robert
Florida.
Stack.
Lars is all over Hans because he said, how could you make that call from the near side? We got 2 officials on the far side. I think it's going to be a holding violation against Virginia. There you see a little Jurassic Park open on Sundays.
Yep, that's 6'7", 6'6", and 6'5" is their starting defense.
Hell of a job by Jack Gray to keep possession and to draw that flag. Whether you agree with it or not, Fulton's going to sit for 30 seconds. And we'll get a chance to see this man-up unit for Duke.
Chismar shutting off Zawada, top of the box.
And we got a little shot clock issue here. I think it was stuck. We're going to get it down to 55 before we start back up. Now we're ready to go.
Kirk, what do you like when they shut off and the defense goes into a box or a diamond set? You got to have someone on the interior,
you have to,
correct?
Yes, I'd put Dyson Williams right inside and park and make them respect the inside presence, and then you get some good overload and carries, you'll have your options. It's a huge risk. They're looking at Zawada as the trigger man on the extra man. That's why they've elected to shut him off as opposed to, say, Brennan O'Neill, who's the most lethal scorer maybe out there.
There's a good look at Zawada, top of the box. Chismar face guarding him.
sometimes what I like too is when you show a quick shot and then you go back into your base.
I like that also.
Yes.
Because there's 5 or 10 seconds of confusion you're causing the offense. They have to shift into what their shut-off offense is, and then you're not shut off anymore. And so you've killed 10 seconds without doing anything.
Still waiting to get the clock all straightened out. It's both the shot clock and the penalty clock is what they're trying to make sure they're all synced up. So 65 now on the shot clock. And I guess they'll start this man up. No, they won't. They have 30 on there right now. Hans is still trying to get this straightened out.
Reunion weekend here at Duke.
Another great crowd. Last week was awesome. Sold out.
This is close to selling out. Look at the
Yes,
far
it is.
side. A lot of orange on the far side.
Tickets going for $100 last week. People were scaling the fence and crawling underneath it.
All right, here we go. Duke man up. Dyson behind the cage. That's Zawada up top. Inside. Dyson Williams scores.
This is a thing of beauty. You're going to see a double cut by Duke down to both pipes. And then the ball kicks up top. And Zawada throws the skip. That's just as good as it gets.
And that's why they were shutting Zawada off. He's the trigger guy, right? He's able to make that type of pass. So Lars Tiffany, his thought process was early on, before the redirect, was to shut Zawada, to take him out of the mix, understanding that he's the guy with the vision and the ability to make that pass.
Face-off won by Virginia. That was Cal Girard's first face-off attempt of the game. 41
He broke
for
his
Duke.
stick.
He's
Right.
got to drop that stick. You're not allowed to continue to play with a broken stick like that.
Does run off with it.
This is something really to monitor, though, with Cal Girard being thrown into the mix here. Jake Naso, we saw it looked like an ankle injury.
And Gobriel's been coming off an injury himself, the face-off man for Virginia. He's just now getting to 100%. Right to the goal goes Schutz, denied, but Virginia keeps possession. Fresh 60. Cormier. He can't get the shot off cleanly.
And that is one area that Virginia has struggled with against Duke. You point to 18 years in a row. Well, the last series matchups that we've watched, Duke shorts Cormier, and it takes Virginia out of their normal offense.
He gets his goals. He still scores, but it takes the flow, like you're saying, out of the mix. It gives him another pole on the perimeter.
Now Schellenberger up top, looking to dodge, loses his footing with Brower all over him. Brower's done a nice job so far. The pass goes high. Still in the field of play, though. And it's picked up by Jamison.
I think last week, Pat Cavanaugh got Kenny Brower's attention. And Connor Schellenberger, throughout the week, probably was watching tape and understanding, taking Kenny Brower from a dodging perspective in different spots. Cavanaugh was very successful dodging at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. That time, Brower played a lot better defense up top.
So now Duke 6v6. Here's O'Neal. O'Neal's got John Schroeder on him, so that's the matchup right now that Virginia has in terms of guarding O'Neal. 49 in dark blue. McAdory out of the box. Spins back to his right. Now the double comes to O'Neal on the wing. Zawada looking to come upfield with the dodge. That's Ben Johnston, 19. One of the top recruits in the country as a freshman this year. Goes back to his left, shoots and scores!
To have success against this Virginia defense, I believe you have to attack them through the midfield.
And Ben Johnson is an absolute force. He is a right-handed player. This is a freshman who's 6'3", 220 pounds, can go right and left. And to hammer this with your offhand in the shot location. I was watching a midweek game against BU, and he had a lefty hammer of a shot. To see the two-handedness of a young guy with that build, you just think of the upside.
That shot placement was gorgeous. Guys in the truck clipped that one off to look at later because I love the view from in front and where he put that shot.
Yeah, righty goalie, hug the opposite pipe.
Again, we're going to keep an eye on the faceoff, Dodd. If you're just joining us, Jake Naso was injured earlier in this game, and it's now Cal Girard who's taken the last 2 draws for the Blue Devils, and they've both gone Virginia's way. But yet Duke has the 2-1 lead. Joey Terenzi, 5 in blue. Keep an eye on him. He's been playing D-midi all year, but he's a little banged up, so he's running out of the box on offense in this game. Here's Millen again on the shorty, looking to make something happen. Pass inside, shoot, score! Peyton Cormier.
Peyton Cormier leads the nation in goals per game. He's not one of the 73 Tewaaraton watch lists players. That is criminal. This guy owns the paint and gets it done inside, game in and game out.
This year, I got serious about my taxes. I met with the TurboTax expert because I had 2 full-time jobs, lawyering and Miami, all on my own.
Count on me, Mia. I'll file your taxes for you with 100% accuracy guaranteed.
I'm too tired to smile.
Make your moves count. Intuit TurboTax. Let a full-service expert do your taxes for you as soon as today.
I'm a guy who lost a bet and my dignity, as if watching my team lose wasn't punishment enough. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, odds are you'll be paying for that yourself. So get Allstate.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Ooh, yes, problem.
You need Verizon. Get the new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage, so you can take all the pics.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition and get iPhone 15 Pro on us. Only on Verizon.
The graduate student from Oakville, Ontario, Peyton Cormier, is 42nd of the year, ties this game at 2 apiece here in Durham. There's a good look at Cormier, leading goal scorer in the nation, and yet I don't think he gets the respect he deserves.
He's Virginia's all-time leading goal scorer, and I know a lot of people argue, oh, he's been around forever, but his goals per game are pretty ridiculous as well. This guy is unbelievable at finishing. You saw the inside presence on that last goal. For him not to be one of the 73 finalists, let's not get crazy here. He's not a top 73 player in college lacrosse.
It's a joke. The Tewaaraton Trophy it's not a club. You don't have to be in a club to win it. Everybody is eligible. Every player on every Division I roster is eligible to win that trophy.
Figure it out at the end of the year.
Correct.
And maybe Naso might win it at the end of the year because he's back. He just took that last draw.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
After he
I never would have
good.
pegged that.
That's great news.
had to be helped off the field with the ankle injury moments ago in this game, and we're still only midway through this first quarter. He missed 2 draws, but he's back, and he won that draw for Duke. Well, let's see if they could use some of that momentum here with Zawada. Question mark. There it is.
Little cat and mouse. The nuance here, as Cotter mentioned, is John Schroeder is covering Brennan O'Neill. That leaves Cole Kastner, the righty, against Zawada. A little hung-up situation. Zawada takes what's there, and a gorgeous question mark. Running upfield, he's able to free up his hands as he turns to the outside. That's not bad defense. That's exceptional offense.
He steps away from the pressure. If you get into the body of Cole Kastner, he swallows you. So that subtle little escape, the step away from Kastner, allows him to get his hands free.
Zawada, the 3-time All-Big Ten performer when he was at Michigan. He scored 119 goals at Michigan, transferred to Duke in the offseason. That's his 22nd. Now playing at the attack line with Williams and O'Neill.
Naso's hurting. You could tell by the way he's jogging off the field. I mean, he's giving everything he has in the tank.
That's given his teammates a lift, though, and they've been able to retake the lead here 3-2 in the first quarter. Schutz, just a freight train running downhill, and he's going to shoot, forcing Jamison to make the save, which he does.
Schutz is on a mission.
He is.
He is playing with an urgency that I haven't seen from him in his career.
And I don't like the matchup of a long pole on him, and I know you think that might sound a little nuts. He's attacking the head of a stick. He runs through that like a hot knife through butter. I would actually put Aiden McGuire, who's a smasher, 23 in white, on him to let him play some leverage game. Griffin Schutz, I think, can dodge a pole easier than a shorty.
O'Neal from X. Double comes quickly, as you might expect, as soon as he gets the GLE. Now it's Zawada's turn. Up top to McAdory. Flag down. Delayed call against Virginia as McAdory hits the pipe. Johnston will run it down, so we'll still await the call. Fresh 60 seconds on the shot clock, so Duke in no hurry here, knowing they've got the penalty that's going to go their way as soon as we get a stoppage. O'Neal scores! That's too unfair right there from that spot.
You've got some house money. There's laundry on the field, flag down. Max Sloat with an exceptional pass to Brennan O'Neal, and I love how O'Neal has the awareness of a KG vet and a goal scorer. When he catches it, he doesn't shoot right away. He pump fakes and he extends his movement upfield to can this.
When you get this Virginia defense sliding, they're going to have issues. Sloat needs a double team. There's no fill on the backside. O'Neal does a nice job by encroaching and coming upfield.
You can see what O'Neal has done in his career against Virginia. His best offensive numbers. And again, Naso is just soldiering on at the middle of the field right now, slow to get up and get off.
That may be the last draw for Naso.
He hobbles off, 56 in white. He had an opportunity there for Schellenberger, but he misses. It stays with Virginia.
So the challenge for John Danowski and his staff now will be solutions facing off. What do you got on the wings?
Millen on Gray, the shorty. Nice swim move to get free. Shot doesn't get through traffic, though. That time, though, picked up by McIntosh, and he scores. They'd love to get number 18 in blue going, wouldn't they?
He hammers this, Q.
This is a little bit of a freak play. You see the Cavalier fans on the far side loving it. This place is wall-to-wall people for the second straight week. This guy scored 6 goals last year against Johns Hopkins. So the ability to finish and have a big day is there. Low to high, scintillating look at that change of level.
We've seen some shots with incredible placement. And that one by McIntosh, we had his game last year against Johns Hopkins, the one that Quint's talking about. Peyton Cormier was hurt. He played the lefty attack spot. Not only 6 goals, he had only 6 shots. He was perfect on the day.
Overall, the shooting so far in this first quarter for both teams has been off the charts good.
You know, Virginia's a team, their top 10 scorers all shoot over 30%.
Duke was able to get possession off that draw, ultimately with Luke Engelke taking it. So we'll see a combination of Girard and Engelke on the day. As Naso, that may be it to Q's point. He did not look good on his last draw as he hurt his ankle earlier. There's another shot from O'Neal. Crowd on their feet here at Koskinen.
What a scene.
They're poking the bear, Q.
I love the emotion that he shows after this goal. And so did the fans.
That is a guy on a mission.
Turboing through multiple defenders as if to say, I'm still king here.
Prior to this game, right, the 3 losses, Quint mentioned the open, 5 total points. MVP of last World Championships in San Diego. Reigning Tewaaraton Trophy winner. What's wrong with Brennan O'Neill? The noise circulates the lacrosse world. A move like that shows me he's back.
2 goals already today here in this first quarter. Duke up 2. Colsey will put it in play for Virginia. Trying to work a 2-man game with Millen behind the cage. Frizzoli is on Millen. Colsey looking heads up. Extra pass, Schellenberger. Didn't have the shot he liked.
Great passing, but a better defensive recovery.
Millen. Feed inside. Couldn't quite hook up with the cutter, and Jamison comes out of there with it. Here comes McGuire. Nice passing. Caputo finishes!
This is why we love this sport. The end-to-end action. Quint mentions Duke does a fantastic job of recovering and making the stop. Now it's athletes in motion. McGuire spot feeds Caputo, and the short stick defensive midfielder, who was an offensive midi his entire life prior to Duke, sets his feet, lets it rip.
Duke's defense. And if they can stop people and generate runouts with the talent of their long poles and their short stick defensive midi group, they should be lethal in transition. I love the trailer break. O'Neill unselfishly throws it down to that 5-on-4, that trailer.
Quint mentions the short stick defensive midfield for Duke. I think it's the best in the country. You have the lockdown defenders with guys like McGuire and Gray, who are physically, the amount of force that they put in a matchup is crazy. And then you have the guys like Caputo who could run the field as well, not to mention Charlie O'Connor. So you have elite cover guys, but you also have depth.
Charlie O'Connor could even take a face-off for you every now and then in terms of his versatility, and they may need him.
And not one of those short stick defensive midfielders that I mentioned was a defensive midfielder coming to Duke. They're all offensive guys. So to your point, Quint, they feel comfortable in transition and handling the rock.
Early timeout for Lars Tiffany in Virginia, as that staff didn't like the way this game was going. Down 6-3 now, the 3-goal deficit, their largest on the days. You can see offensive coordinator, first-year offensive coordinator Tim Cassis for Virginia. Had a great career here as a player for Duke. That was an assistant for a while.
This is a goal last week that caught our attention off a ground ball one in the defensive zone. So he had one pass coming into this. And Duke's got a numbers game. Watch how they share and how unselfish they are. That's Will Frizzoli, top of the box. One more down low. Dyson Williams sneaks from behind. I mean, it's a thing of beauty. That goal had 6 different players touch the ball. That was last week in a loss to Notre Dame. You just saw a similar goal today. I think that Duke, in transition, is really, really strong.
When I see that, I scratch my head and say, how did that team score 4 goals against Syracuse?
Correct. Correct.
How does that happen?
Well, going into the Syracuse game, they were averaging 18. Okay, so is that a one-off and a head-scratcher type game? But they slowed down after that game as well compared to what they were doing early in the season.
I just want to see him push the tempo because going from D to offense, they're awesome. O'Neill's such a threat on that lefty wing. Dyson Williams going to finish everything. And Zawada, his style fits transition.
And if you watch O'Neill, he's such a lethal dodger on slow breaks.
Look out here. Jamison makes the save, stopping Cormier.
To put a bow on the whole transition piece with Duke, when you give the ball to Brennan O'Neill
in space,
on a slow break in transition where the rest of the defense, the 5 other defenders aren't ready to help, that's where he really deals.
McAdory did a nice job, still doing a nice job to keep it away from Jaeger. Now advantage Duke. O'Neill scores!
Right there, Virginia was not prepared to defend him. They were not in their base set, Quint, and he struck and he made them pay.
Starts with the freshman from PA. Watch him use his legs on this. He's 57% on the season. Steady and not many rebounds. Look at the rebound coverage. And then Virginia presses McAdory in the middle of the field, and they pay the price. He swings it to O'Neal, and as you just said 5 seconds ago, that O'Neal is dangerous when defenders are running out at him.
And the help, the support group, and that cast, who is so accustomed when it's a 6-on-6 settled situation, Cotter, ready to support the matchup, they're in flux. Ben Ware was coming out of the box. He was just getting into the hole.
Gobriel too quick on the whistle on that faceoff. McGuire bounces it way too high, but he'll stay with Duke as Dyson backs it up. I feel like Duke is chomping at the bit right now. They've got all the momentum, and they're just feeling it.
You know, they actually played a pretty good third quarter and early stages of the fourth quarter last week. After Notre Dame built that 8-4 lead, they tied the game up at 11-11 and just kind of went dormant in the last 5 minutes of the game. But I thought it was an upgrade, even in a loss.
Zawada over to this side, over to Charles Balsamo. Balsamo got free for a moment. Papendick. Skip pass far side of the Dinenza. D Nice sets a pick for his high school teammate at St. Anthony's. Now he gets it back. Zawada. Nothing doing on Kastner. Back to Balsamo. 15 to shoot for Duke and Zawada. Uses a Papendick pick. Pass. Can't connect in front of the cage as he was looking for Dyson cutting.
I get the feeling that Duke's second midfield needs to run something different. You know, I like Balsamo from the invert, from behind the net.
Yeah, he was an attackman his whole high school career. I agree with you. Probably next year when Duke graduates the three seniors, Balsamo will play attack, his natural habitat. Cotter, did I hear you call Dinenza D Nice?
Yeah, that's
we
his
had a
new
call
nickname.
with him this week in a Zoom. He gave him the nickname. That's not his nickname. Cotter's like, well, your new nickname is D Nice.
Everybody ultimately gives you the nickname.
And Aiden looked at you like, who's that?
Yeah.
I was like, Boogie Down Productions? No? That doesn't ring a bell? All right, well, from now on, you're D Nice. Rolls off the tongue.
Animal House, I deem you.
D Nice from now on. Now Millen, can he get going? He's got Bard on Schellenberger. Final 10 seconds of this first quarter. Schutz trying to elbow his way in. How did he make that catch? Ultimately, it was taken away, though, by Frizzoli inside and out, so it'll be a turnover back to Virginia with just .9 left to go.
Did you see the D by Gray on Schutz? That's a short stick, to my point. Like, you could win that leverage game. He's going to run through a pole. I would put Gray or McGuire on Schutz every time.
Take arms here.
Now the officials want to talk things over with .9 left on the clock. Are we going to have a replay here on the clock situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna look at it.
My guess is that they're going to put at least an extra second on the clock.
I should say review. That's what we're having, an official review, as Hans came over and said, let's take a look at that clock to make sure there isn't more than .9, because Virginia really can't do anything with the ball over here at .9. If you put a little bit on, maybe they'll be able to get one pass and one shot. The ball just has to leave your cross before the horn sounds to remain in play. So that's what Hans Wittelsberger with the headset on is looking at right now.
I spoke to Hans pregame about video review this year and how the officials, since maybe a uneven rollout, let's say, in February, where there was some officiating crews really reliant on video, I got to tell you, over the last month, it's been pretty darn smooth. Now, last week's call in this game, goal, no goal, tough to.
It hasn't disrupted the flow of games.
Exactly. It hasn't added enormous length to the contests. So it looks like 2.1 or 2.0 seconds when Frizzoli steps in the crease.
If it's 2.9, that's doable right now for Virginia. You can get a pass and a shot.
Points towards us, and you.
So that's going to help the Wahoos in this situation.
You want to do something inside if you're Virginia, a seal down and a pop off a pick. You have 2 players or maybe 3 players working together here. Your target's probably going to be Cormier, 24, and I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some other Cavaliers set a screen for him. Ball has to be released towards the net before the clock goes 0-0.
Cormier's definitely the look here because he's a lefty, taking it from a righty pass in Schellenberger. Cormier potentially Colsey, but he looks too high, and he's a natural lefty as well.
They'll put it in play from the far side in Schellenberger. He's got to get a pass off real quick, and it's deflected by Brouwer, and that horn will signal the end of a very entertaining and a very fruitful first quarter for that man right there. John Danowski applauding his team. What an effort from the homestanding Duke Blue Devils. Close game early, then the offense with Dyson Williams and company really starting to come to the fore. 7-3 Duke on top after 1.
When you have auto glass damage, let Safelite come to you. My customer enjoys time with her family. So when her windshield got a crack, she scheduled with Safelite in just a few clicks. We came to her house, replaced the windshield, and installed new wipers. That's service on her time.
We come to you for free. Schedule now for free mobile service at safelite.com.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
When Barbara switched to TurboTax,
I broke 4 generations of family tradition with 5 little words. Ma, I want to make perfume. Getting my business off the ground was a full-time job.
so I made Barbara's new site gig count by guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and a maximum refund. Make your moves. We'll make them count. Intuit TurboTax. 100% accuracy guaranteed.
Ally is invested in women's sports. Are you?
Heart of a lion, fire inside me, blaze like a siren. Why would you try it? Wake up the beast, no, I can't keep silent. I know my timing, now it's my time, your time is expiring. Blood, sweat, and tears, I conquered my fears, I'm ready to fly now. We know they scared of us, no, they don't care for us.
The game has changed monumentally. Ally is invested in the financial future of women's sports.
The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified April 13th through the 21st as ACC Unity Week, which is where we are right now, here in Durham, North Carolina. Gorgeous day, an absolute packed house here at Koskinen, and they are enjoying themselves so far because it's Duke up 7-3. 34 has gotten going along with this entire offense for the Blue Devils.
Best quarter Duke's played this year, right? Best quarter?
Down, not even close. And I think the storyline, we were talking in break, they're finding transition. There's no transition for Virginia. And I highlighted in the open, Matthew Nunes, his secret sauce this year is making saves and getting it out quick. He has 0 saves.
And Engelke had to take that face-off. And a new goalie for Virginia, Kyle Morris, coming in for Matt Nunes, who had Nunes made 0 saves in that first quarter.
Quick hook.
I don't know. I mean, I'll lean on Quint, the ex-goalie. How many of those shots should have he saved?
I don't see that you can take him out after that. Now, obviously, they love Kyle Morris.
Yes.
Kip Turner, their goalie coach, has told us about Kyle Morris.
Jamison making that save, saw it all the way.
So from the outside, you know, it's like making a pitching change. We don't know. Did Nunes have a bad week of practice? Is he battling an injury? Like, there could be other things going on here that the coaching staff says, you know what, we need to make a change. Or is this a change? We love you, Matt. We got to go with Kyle. Who, maybe he'll get hot and spark something.
Yeah, Kip Turner thinks he's a high-level stopper. But heading into this game, Matthew Nunes has been a bright spot for this team.
Huge.
58%, top 6 in the country in save percentage. And he's kind of their identity in transition because of his outlet passes.
So an interesting move early on in this game by Lars Tiffany. Let's see if it pays off. Sloat. Back to his left against the shorty. He shoots. Right off the bat, Morris making a save.
Big one coming off the pines there. The first one's always the toughest.
Stays with Duke and a fresh 60 to shoot.
Yeah, but he didn't get the regular warm-up either.
No, it's really tough coming off the bench, jumping in the game cold.
O'Neal. Feeling it. Question mark, too high.
You know, Lars, I think, looks at it like it's any other position.
Yeah.
So if you had a bad quarter and you're an attackman, I
respect it.
So you got to deal with that if you're an athlete, and don't bring your ego to the table.
Yep. I like Morris's body language after that save.
McAdory. Got Jaeger on him, but he gets free. Decides not to take the shot, instead skips it through a bunch of sticks, a lot of traffic. Man, Virginia's just too long to try that skip pass, aren't they? I mean, the length is ridiculous. Now, can they get something in transition? Schellenberger says, no, I'm going to back it out.
We need more from Connor Schellenberger in this game, and it looks like Virginia may have to use some picks to free him and McCabe Millen up.
They've been doing that all season.
Millen tries the question mark. That's wide.
They'll play a little 5-on-5. Ben Ware, 44 in blue, being shut off by Ben Johnson, 19 in white, little cat and mouse. And
on the dead ball, Coach Danowski wants
Coach
a timeout.
Danowski didn't want to play that hangman.
We'll take a break with him. 7-3. Dino and the Duke Blue Devils on top.
When Barbara switched to TurboTax,
I broke 4 generations of family tradition with 5 little words. Ma, I want to make perfume. Getting my business off the ground was a full-time job.
so I made Barbara's new Sidekick count by guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and a maximum refund. Make your moves. We'll make them count. Intuit TurboTax. 100% accuracy guaranteed.
I'm a guy who lost a bet and my dignity, as if watching my team lose wasn't punishment enough. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, odds are you'll be paying for that yourself. So get Allstate.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Ooh, yes, problem.
You need Verizon. Get the new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage, so you can take all the pics.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition and get iPhone 15 Pro on us. Only on Verizon.
Well, she's not the easiest person to please. Right, Mama?
She needs things to be just right.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, we do love her. That's my mug, isn't it?
But she needs a place of her own, and fast.
Thankfully, she's on Redfin. Redfin updates their listings every 2 minutes.
That means every 2 minutes, there's a chance we'll be back to having our porridge in peace.
Oh, wow. This one's just right. Is she leaving? Yes.
Oh, it's happening. It is happening.
These two fans right here enjoying the sun-splashed afternoon here in Durham, despite the fact that their team is down 4 goals. Coming out of a timeout. 12-12 mark of this second quarter. Matt Nunes pulled early for Virginia, going for Kyle Morris instead. Nunes made 0 saves on the entire first quarter. Morris has already made one here early in the second. But Virginia with possession coming out of the loose ball, or the dead ball timeout, I should say, by Duke. Let's see what Virginia can do here with Schellenberger. They have been in a serious drought offensively, so trying to break that here, and an opportunity. Couldn't get it to go. No angle shooting, but they get it back and score. That time it's Colsey who finishes. Virginia will take a junk goal just to get back on the board.
Off of dead ball timeouts, Kevin Cassis this season, the offensive coordinator for Virginia, has done wonderful work with set pieces. They run a set play here off the timeout. Unsuccessful, but Colsey just scraps.
Yeah, Cormier runs out of angle. Twister to no avail. And then Ryan Colsey picks up the loose change and crashes the boards. Colsey, for an American, has a wealth of experience playing box lacrosse with the soft hands and the follow-up. Biggest question I have, though, for this offense moving forward is, outside of Schutz, where are they going to
Draw
get
slides, yeah.
midfield production from a dodging perspective? That's going to dictate this game. If it's only Schutz from up top, it's not enough.
Angle Key wins that draw.
neither of these defenses love supporting, sliding, or helping. They want to win matchups on the perimeter and stay at home.
Johnston, the freshman, gets ahead of his defender, shoots, bouncer, off the mark, but here's O'Neal. He'll shoot. Morris makes the save. Loose ball in front, picked up by the Wahoos. And now we've got another injured Virginia player on the field. That looks like it may be Ben Ware. No.
I think it's Chismar.
Yeah, it is. Noah Chismar.
Yeah, he had a banged up shoulder early on in the season.
Some concern from Lars Tiffany as the Virginia staff goes out to check on Chismar.
He was one of their best players a week ago when they played North Carolina. He was all over the field, caused turnovers, a couple goals.
Let's see if we can see where he got hurt. This is the crash right here. Johnston just plowing into him. There's that shoulder, that right shoulder.
Yeah, he didn't play against Ohio State out with an upper body early in the year. He was in a walking boot as well. So this position, this league is as taxing as it gets. Remember, they're without Joey Terenzi on the defensive side today, and now Chismar, leaving them a little bit shorthanded in that defensive midfield spot. Chismar is the juice player on this team. He's like the heart and soul of this team. The plays he's made on defense in transition.
One of the ACC specialists of the week. Prior to the shot clock era in college lacrosse, you needed 2 to 3 short stick D-middies. You legit need 5 now. You do, from a depth perspective. If you don't have that depth, I mean, you look at right now, they're down 2 with Terenzi, who they're playing at offensive midfield, and now Chismar, who looks like he's in a lot of pain.
So we'll probably see more Will Erdman, see Wills Burt, the freshman.
Yes, and apparently Mac Till is injured. He was in that mix, in that position earlier this season.
That's why 5 is the number.
Kastner showing that deceptive speed. Duke wanted an offside, and they're going to get it. Officials didn't see it at first, but now they do. Will Duke look to attack early? Caputo, he already has one on the day. Instead, the pass to O'Neal. That's a tough angle, too high. So an unsettled situation. Virginia wiping the sweat off their brows, and they'll settle in to defend 6v6.
23 and 20. Yeager and Erdman are going to be clocking mad hours.
Zawada. His second on the day.
This game means a lot for Duke. They're 0-2 in the ACC. And I feel it, having been here last week when they lost to Notre Dame. You just feel the sense of urgency from everybody. Their bench, watch the use of the pick right here at X. This creates this goal. Just a little interference, then the defenders cross up. It's Yeager and Kastner. They get in each other's way. Too easy for Zawada.
It looked like Yeager was going to help, and then at the last second he stops. Zawada recognizes there's a ton of real estate. Lefty goal line extended, and I think when you look at this offense, when it was clicking earlier in the season, when they were averaging the 18 goals per game, it was a ton of Zawada. It was a ton of O'Neal. We're seeing those two today.
Gobriel wins the draw, but Virginia in a little bit of trouble here. Gobriel's going to have to be huge today. That will enable Virginia to make a run if they've got one in them. Terenzi's in a little bit of trouble in the middle of the field, but he's able to get it into the offensive zone. Now Mankey.
I would like to see Virginia employ a little bit more of the pick game for Schellenberg.
I agree. Now, you want a big little pick? You bring a midi back there. Cormier's got the short. He can play a little two-man game.
There was a pick right there.
Change the matchup. Effective.
Now you got
advantage Virginia.
Yep.
Let's see what Schellenberger can do. Look at all the help, the attention he draws, and it ends up being a goal as 14 Will Corey finishes. Hell of a catch by Corey as that pass was up the ladder.
The pick game does so much. One, it gets you the short stick where Connor Schellenberger then could dance and take a shorty to the rack. But it also puts the defense on such a red alert. You look at all the eyes of Duke. They're going to support this matchup, so then he uses that pick to become a passer.
He earns the double team. Somebody's open on the inside. The mistake for Duke was made earlier than this replay. You can't switch a midfielder onto Connor Schellenberger. You got to work harder to maintain a pole matchup on the opponent's best player.
Virginia gets it back to a 3-goal deficit and back to Gobriel.
Ooh, man.
Physical play. Duke comes out of there with it. Wilson. Thought he might have had McGuire open on the wing, opted not to attempt the pass.
With the lack of depth, I mentioned earlier, 20 and 23 are going to be logging a ton of hours. That's Chase Yeager and Will Erdman. Putting Will Erdman also on face-off wings with the lack of depth at short stick D midi. You got to watch his wind and his reps throughout this game. He's covering right now.
Go.
8-5, Duke on top. Got 13 in white. Alex Slusher getting some minutes. Dino realizes it's a hot day. He's going to go down and get his midfielders a few minutes. Balsamo.
I like the look with Balsamo and Slusher, who's asking for this invert earlier.
Here's Balsamo on Yeager. Virginia shows and then goes. Balsamo good to get rid of it to Zawada though, and he finishes.
That's big. Depth of contribution. Multiple guys producing. Balsamo and Slusher getting a lot of time behind the net. Balsamo against the shorty, eventually draws the double team, spins out of trouble and jams it inside. Virginia off-ball defense just caught sleeping.
Credit the patience of Balsamo because he's under some stress there, and I thought that he was just going to have the ball exchanged to up top. He knew that if he let his patience prevail, there could be a seam inside, and this goes back to what we were mentioning earlier. If you have a guy like Balsamo who's played attack his whole life, he's going to play attack next year, let him operate from those spots and good things will happen. When you've played attack and you've dominated with the ball on your stick for your whole life, you know that you can handle pressure and the spots will open up.
Thomas Colucci took that draw for Virginia. And you had McGuire lose his stick, couldn't play with it. Now Schellenberger with the top corner. He's trying to get his teammates fired up now. Makes it a 3-goal deficit once again.
This is a tricky situation. In hindsight, the Duke player probably should have played that ball, picked up his stick. The ball gets stuck in his stick and goes down to the turf.
That's a tough one,
It's a restart, but he's got to pick up his stick and get back in the action. You know what I mean by that? So he probably should just drop the ball and retreat.
I love the placement. We're talking about some sharp shooting today. I mean, the shooting today has been completely ridiculous. And Connor Schellenberger, you see the emotion after that goal?
Maybe that's his breakthrough here.
And they need those kind of goals in terms of non-traditional 6-on-6 with the Dodgers not really operating from up top and drawing slides. Find those opportunities in transition.
Great play by Colucci, though, to pick that ball up, to show it to the refs. I'm ready.
Yep.
Boom, we got a head start. Super smart.
Now let's see this Virginia team if they can get anything going 6v6. Schutz on Bard.